everyone, Tracy here with Paper Closet Designs. I am so excited. Today I have a video showing two new dome candy holder cards, and these are perfect for our graduate. Doesn't matter if it's kindergarten, junior high, high school, or college. So let me show you what we've got. So I have two of them. The first one is our owl, and the second is our cap. And it says congratulations. And this one that says congratulations, this is a printable, so you can print and cut it out on either of your machines, or it also comes with a banner that says class of, and then it has the interchangeable numbers. And I have 20, 23, 24, 25, 26, and they can either be cut out individually or they can be added on and made part of the print and cut. Let me show you the backs of these. So each one has two different types of back. And on the cap, I did the pull tab. So you just pull it open and get your candy or your treat that way. And then on the owl, I did the dial back. So you tip it over and it has the dial, and you just spin it. And that way you can fill it and the recipient can get their candy or their treat out of it. The supplies that you will need for these cards are, first, they are made with a plastic Christmas ornament. And these can be purchased year-round at most of your craft stores. They usually carry a small supply of these, and then about October they start carrying a lot of them. If you cannot find them in your craft store, you can order them online. I get mine on Amazon, and I actually buy them in the bulk because I do tons and tons of these. Each ornament will make 2 cards, so you break it apart and you use 1/2 for the card. The other supplies that you will need is you will need some hot glue. The low melt will not work, and the other types of glues I have played with, like the E6000 and stuff, this is the best, is your hot glue. You'll need a pencil, and then some other glue, or a tape runner. And I actually use both. So this is my Scotch ATG tape runner gun. And then I have the Scotch tacky glue, and I put it in a smaller bottle. So you'll need one or the other or both. Whoa. An optional supply is foam tape, and you can either use the dots, foam top dots, squares or dots, or you can buy it on the roll, which is what I do. I buy it on the roll. But that's an optional piece. And then finally, if you are doing the dial back, you will need a brad. Just a simple store brad. The little scrapbook brads are too small. These are just the brads that you'll buy at your office supply, Walmart, grocery store, or whatever. And you'll need one of those per card. All right, so let's go ahead and we are going to start with the cap card. And with this one, we're going to do a dial back. So on this one, I have the pull tab. And on the next one that I'm showing you, we are going to do the dial back. So the pieces that come with that are, I told you already, you have the banner. And this time we're going to do the class of, and this was printed. And then I'm going to glue my year on. For the dial back, you will have 2 washers. And those are really important pieces. You'll have the dial and you'll have a back piece. Then the front of the card has the tassel, a frame, the banner background. Your cap is in 2 pieces. Your background, and your final piece. Just a word of caution. I have always said on all of my videos that you want to find a file that has 3 layers or more. And this one, you'll notice, only has 2. So when you put something in here, you're going to want to do something light. And so I will show you what I'm planning on putting here, and it's pretty light. If you're doing the dial back, it does give you a little bit more strength than just the pull tab, plus you have your embellishments. Okay, so to get started, we're going to take our largest piece and we are going to lay it on the background piece and center it. And now we know where our dome is going to go. So I'm going to take my pencil and I'm just going to trace that circle right in there so that I can place my dome on there. Go ahead and draw the circle. Okay, and then we can remove that piece. Next up, we need to get our dial pieces or the back pieces. And our little brad. So I'm going to start with the brad and I'm going to put it through the back piece. Flip it over. We're going to add one washer, the dial, another washer, and then we want the back piece with our circle facing towards us or away from this final back piece. Just like that. Don't worry too much about matching it up right now. All we're going to do is open up that brad. Flip it over, kind of spin this so that it's all lined up, and then we're going to take our glue and we are going to glue on the outside edge of this circle. I'm going to grab my glue, line it up here. I want to make sure that we are in the camera view. And just put a thin stripe of glue along the edge. You don't want to go too far in or it will make it so that your dial does not spin. And this is why I use a glue that dries clear, because I'm kind of a messy gluer. You have more room at the top than you do on the sides. So if you're worried, you can add some extra glue to really hold that down. And then you'll want to spin your dial and make sure that it spins. And mine does. If it doesn't spin, you either got glue too close to the edge and so the dial doesn't have room to spin, or you forgot those washers, because those washers are what give it the ability to spin. Okay, we're going to lay this down, and I'm actually going to close it. And now we're going to take our dome, and we are going to lay this right along the circle that we drew. And the little tab, the hanging tab on the dome, I do not want by my window, so I'm actually going to point it down. We're just going to lay it right there, match up the circle that you've drawn as best you can. Doesn't have to be exact, but you want it pretty close so that everything lines up. And then we're just going to take our glue gun and we're going to glue around the outside edge of that dome to keep it in place. Oh, and I bumped that, so let me just move it here. Okay. Make sure that the dome is over the window and you're not getting glue inside that window, or again, your dial will not close. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to set that aside for a minute. And I'm going to bring my back piece and we are going to do the banner. So I'm going to take my banner, and there's a little cutout right here at the top, and it goes along the cutout on that back piece. And I'm just going to use my tape runner for this because it's quick and easy. Maybe it's quick and easy. There we go. We're just going to line that up, and there is a little bit of a shadow all the way around the banner. That's really hard to see, that gray on top of my gray mat. There we go. There we go. Okay, just like that. Next up, let's take our class of the printed banner, and you would do the same thing if you were doing the congratulations. So like I said, I've got 4 years on here, or you can do the graduation, the congratulations, or you could leave it blank. You could type a person, or do a person's name on there. You could do their school name. Whatever you need to do to make this personal for your receiver. I'm just going to lay that right on there like that. And then I'm going to take my 2023 and I'm going to lay it on there first before I glue it. Now I'm going to take my little tiny glue, and as I said at the beginning, if you wanted to, you could actually turn the number into a print and cut as well, and then you wouldn't have to add that on here. But I cut it out so that if you wanted to do it in a different color, if you wanted to do it in the school colors, or you need to change it, it's really easy to do that. "2023, I can't believe it's 2023 and the year is almost half over already. It goes so fast. Okay, so there is our 2023. Next up, we're going to do our hat, and before I glue those on there, I'm just going to lay it on here and make sure that it's the way that I want it to look. And then we'll go ahead and glue this on here. And you can do this right up to the edge, or you can even put it up a little bit higher off the edge. Glue on our hat. Okay, and now we are ready to add this back piece to our dome. And it's just going to go like that, and the stars are going to show through. So whatever color you want your stars is what color you're going to cut this back piece out of. I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to add foam pop dots. Now, if you wanted to, you could just glue this on. However, because of your little tab, it lifts it up just a little bit. And so that's why I like to do the foam tape. But if you're not a fan of foam tape, you can just glue it directly on to that back piece. I use a lot of foam tape, so I buy it in the bulk. And I used to get it at Amazon, but the craft store that I teach classes at, they have started carrying it. And it's actually just a little bit cheaper to buy it with them. On this bottom piece, I'm not going to put a piece of tape right there in the middle because that's where my tab is. So I'm going to do it on the sides. I'm going to remove that. And you can see that this is not, what am I trying to say? It's not as heavy as if I had done a lot of layers on here. It will be okay as long as you're not putting something really heavy. So I wouldn't suggest like the big gumballs or anything that's really heavy in here. Another fun thing though that would be to put in these graduations is some money. Roll up some dollar bills or put some change in there as long as it's not too heavy. Okay, we're just gonna line that up. And press it down. Okay, now we can add our frame. And the frame and the tassel I cut out of school colors, but you could again do it whatever you want. So my school colors when I went to high school were red and black, go Wolverines. And the school that my kids went to was blue and yellow. So I have a tendency, every time I do graduation gifts, files, I do them in one of those two colors, red and black or yellow and blue. But you could do this in any school color. Just gonna add that there. And then the final piece is the tassel. And you could actually add that with a pop dot or just glue it directly on there. I'm gonna glue it on. And you can put your tassel on either side. And then all we have to do for this one is fill it up. So I'm gonna flip it over, open up the dome. And I found these buttermint graduation candy at Hobby Lobby the other day. So that's what I'm gonna use, and they are pretty light. So I'm gonna flip them over so you can see the graduation in the window. And probably put 5 or 6 of them in there. Yep, I did 6. That seemed to work. Close it up. And there is our cap, class of 2023. I don't like the way the candy's laying in there. That's one of the nice things about the dial is you can kind of mess around with the candy if it's not looking quite right. Turn it over, and there we go. So we have both of these files with the dial back or the pull tab, and then the class of with 4 different years or congratulations. Just a little bit of FYI on this card, the band and the tassel I cut from foil cardstock. That's why it's a little bit shiny. So next, let's do our owl. Isn't he just the cutest? So there's my dome. And this one we're gonna do with a pull tab, so we will assemble it just a little bit different. On the owl, there are quite a few more pieces and a few more layers. So we have his feet, you have 2 feet. His glasses, which are optional. You don't have to add the glasses, but I think they're cute. We have the hat and the tassel, the frame, the beak, and then we have 3 layers. We have a light brown, a darker brown, and the white. And this is where the eyes are going to show through. And then you have 2 eyes. And then finally we have the back piece. If you are doing the dial, you will also have a round back, the dial, and the 2 washers. Okay, so what we want to do with this one is we're going to take our largest piece, which is this dark brown, and we are going to line it up right where he goes. Don't worry about the hat for right now, the graduation cap. Just line him up over the circle. I'm going to take our pen, and this time I'm going to trace a circle, but the pull tab, I'm not going to draw on the pull tab. Okay, just like that. Let's flip this over and just barely pull up that tab. It's just kind of training it to give it a little bit of something to grab hold of and pull. Now when we do the pull tab, you have to fill your dome before you glue it on. And this time I'm just going to use some M&Ms. I'm going to lay that on there and then just flip it over. Don't matter if it doesn't match up right now. Again, we want that tab from the ornament away from the pull tab. And now we're just going to scoot that over and line that up on that line that we drew. And that looks like it's just almost perfect. Now we're going to take our glue gun and we're going to add glue all the way around except where the pull tab is. We don't want glue on that pull tab. This is the other reason that I use my hot glue gun and not just regular glue, is because if you were doing like the EK6000 or another type of glue, you're going to have to put it on the edge of your dome before you lay it down there, and I'm afraid that it might drip in and get on your candy, and nobody wants to eat glue. So when we do it this way, there's no way that that glue is getting into the candy. Okay, I'm going to set that aside while it cools down, and we are going to partially assemble our owl. So the first thing we want is we're going to take that white piece and we're going to put the lighter brown over the top of it, just like that. You don't want to put, whoa, I pulled that right out of the window. You don't want to put tape on the edge of the wings because it's not on the white piece. I hope that made sense. I'm just going to add some tape in a couple of spots. Whatever is going on with my tape gun, it's okay. And then we're going to line that up, match the circle and the top of the owl. Then we'll take this lighter brown and it's going to go right on the top there so that his wings show through. And I think I'll just use my glue. Maybe, come on. Well, we're having not the greatest luck today. There we go. So line that up right like that. Okay. And then we need to add our eyes, and the direction you add them is going to give your owl the expression on his face. So you can have him going cross-eyed or pointing down, looking at one direction. Just going to add a little bit of glue and put that right there. At this point, let's go ahead and add our owl to the back of our card. I'm going to flip him over and I'm going to once again add foam pop dots or foam tape to my owl. I'm just going to get this big roll out here and cut some pieces off. I'm going to stay away from the very bottom because that's where my tab has been glued down. And kind of go to the sides. Okay. And pull those pieces off. add him right to that background. On this owl, you'll notice that I cut the background out of the school colors, and on the other one, I cut it out of gray. You could do any color that you wanted to. You could do white or just about anything. I would not do black because then your cap probably won't show. But other than that, you can do any color that you want. Okay, we're gonna add our frame next. Gonna add our little feet. And I'm just gonna put glue on the top half because we used the foam pop dot, so it's gonna hang off just a little bit. That is the other nice thing about the foam pop dots, is if somehow you get off centered and everything's not matching up, it's okay, because you've popped it up and it's not laying right directly on that piece. Oh, I did that wrong. I did that in the wrong direction. I'm gonna have to not let that dry or stick while it's drying. Okay, now we have our beak. Put a little bit of glue on him, and he goes right up between the eyes and over the frame just a little bit. If you want to add your glasses, now is the time to do it. You don't have to. They go like this so that the earpieces go up towards the hat. And cover his nose. Whoops. Next up is the graduation cap, and because the owl is on foam pop dots, I'm also going to do my cap on foam pop dots. But first I'm going to lay it on there and make sure that I like the way that it looks. Fold that over. Whoops, sorry, I keep bumping the camera. Get our foam tape, or your dots, or just glue it directly. If you've glued the owl on directly, you could just glue the hat on directly as well. I did do, I'm trying to remember which one it was. I think it was the flower dome, and maybe there was one other one that I've done where I didn't do the foam dots. I just glued it to show you how it works. And I have lots of people tell me that they just glue it without the dots. So it's really your preference, whatever you want to do. I'm going to add some tape to the top of the cap. And then add our tassel. On this owl, I put it on the left-hand side. On this one, I'm going to put it on the right-hand side. And that is all there is to the owl. So we have the two owls, one with the dial back and one with the pull tab, ready for your graduate. And then a final recap, we have the class of 2023, whoa, excuse me, and congratulations. I hope you'll give these a try. Give them to your favorite graduate. Please give me a thumbs up down below, hit subscribe, and have a great day.